At precisely 10:04 a.m., the auditorium lights dimmed. Hundreds of families hushed, their eyes fixed on the stage, where high school dreams were about to be handed out. Diploma by diploma. Parents clutched flowers. Cameras flashed. Gowns rustled, like whispers of victory. But behind the stage, a man in faded gray overalls, hands rough with age and labor, quietly mopped a spill near the backstage curtains. He didn't belong in the program. He wasn't listed in the brochure. No one clapped. For him. And yet, before the morning ended, every person in that auditorium would be on their feet, cheering for the janitor no one ever noticed. This is not a story about a graduation. It's a story about dignity, truth, and the moment one young woman's scorn cracked open a secret. No one saw coming. His name was Mr. Leon Carter. To the students of Greenridge High, he was the guy with the mop. He came early, left late, never asked for thanks. Every Monday, he fixed the rattling heater in the girls' locker room. On Thursdays, he helped the band teacher move chairs. And every day, every single day, he swept those same long, empty hallways that echoed with teenage drama and forgotten homework. Mr. Carter was invisible in plain sight, but not to everyone. There was one student who watched him more than most, a senior named Ava Monroe, top of her class, daughter of the PTA president, destined for Stanford and deeply convinced that people belonged in boxes. It started with a spilled coffee. Ava stood backstage in her pristine white gown, texting furiously about her speech. She didn't even see Mr. Carter until she stepped backward and knocked over his bucket. Hot brown, liquid splashed across the tiled floor and onto her gown. She gasped. "You need to watch where you're going," she snapped. Mr. Carter, calm as ever, bent down with a rag. "I'll take care of it, miss." But Ava wasn't done. "No, you shouldn't be here right now. This is graduation. This is our moment. You're ruining the photos." He met her gaze, just for a second. Not with anger, not with shame, but with something quieter, like he'd heard that tone before, many, many times. He didn't reply, he just kept cleaning. And that silence would echo all the way to the principal's podium. 30 minutes later, the ceremony began. Names called, cheers erupting, flashbulbs popping like popcorn. Ava sat on stage, still fuming. Her dress had dried, but the stain, dark, unmistakable, was still there. She folded her speech tightly in her lap. Her father gave her a thumbs up from the front row. Then, right before the valedictorian was called to speak, the principal stepped to the mic. Mr. Danvers was a kind man. Quiet, methodical. The kind who loved crossword puzzles and kept every thank you card he'd ever received. But what he said next wasn't in the program. I'd like to take a moment to recognize someone who's never been invited to speak at a graduation, but without whom this day wouldn't be possible. A murmur swept the audience. The students looked at one another. Mr. Danvers turned and pointed to the man in the back, the one who unlocked the doors this morning, who cleaned the spilled coffee without complaint, and who's quietly given 35 years of his life to this school. Eyes swiveled, gasps. Some students stood to look behind them, and there, almost hidden in the shadow of the exit door, stood Mr. Leon Carter, mop in hand, cap tucked respectfully under his arm. Frozen. He didn't move at first. He didn't understand. Mr. Danvers kept speaking. "Some of you might not know this, but Mr. Carter is a war veteran. He served in Desert Storm. He saved lives before he ever picked up a broom. And when his wife passed, he never missed a day of work. Not once. Because he believed that helping others, even silently, matters more than recognition." The auditorium was still. So still you could hear someone crying in the back row. Mr. Danvers cleared his throat. Today, on this stage, we honor our graduates. But I ask you to stand, for just a moment, for the man who has taught us all the meaning of service. He stepped back. And then, the entire room rose to their feet, one by one. Parents, teachers, seniors in robes. Even Ava, stunned, her stained dress now the last thing on her mind. Mr. Carter blinked. Tears welled, uninvited. Tried to wave it off, to melt into the wall like always. But Mr. Danvers walked down, took him gently by the elbow, and led him to the stage. The applause didn't stop. It grew louder, deeper. A thunder of gratitude for a man who never asked for thanks. After the ceremony, Ava didn't speak. Not until later that night, when she found Mr. Carter locking up the gym. She held her speech in her hands, the one she never got to give. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. He looked up. "I was rude, and I was wrong." Mr. Carter smiled, a slow, tired smile full of grace. "You were young," he replied. "You still are." She pressed the folded paper into his hands. "I think maybe this belongs to you." And with that, she left, no more words, just one final look over her shoulder at the janitor who turned out to be more than anyone ever guessed. There are people all around us who go unseen. Not because they're invisible, but because we forget to look. Leon Carter didn't need applause. He didn't need a medal. But on that graduation day, he got something deeper. Recognition, respect. And in the smallest of ways, a moment of justice. A reminder that true heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they carry mops. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life moments of quiet courage and unexpected truth. Leave a comment below and tell us, who's the unsung hero in your life? Your story might be next. And remember, sometimes the smallest gestures reveal the biggest hearts.